me do a sound check real quick here. There you go. You guys can hear me. And you can see my closed captioning, so that's good. What am I doing? I am running through a lab that we built yesterday, and I'm modifying it to be able to hit another scan that's built into this around Mozilla. Let's say you had Mozilla Firefox on your system, and you wanted to scan, and it looks like there's 34 rules for that, so that's good. And we are going to go and then look at what our output of that scan looks like, so that we could then, report on it or get a plan together to fix it, that kind of stuff. So, this is what we're doing right now. And I'm eating a bagel, so I'm not on camera. I don't think a bunch of you want to see me chewing on a bagel. All right. It's done. We got a 0%. I've literally never seen a 0%. That's hilarious. All right. So we're going to go capture this and see what our actual results are. We're going to go do that. All right, all done eating. CD over there. So this will be that same type of thing. Yeah, this will actually look the same as the other one. All right. Let's continue then, so the lab will do all the things we need. We don't actually need Apache for this. Oh yeah, we do actually, because we're going to share this out. Okay, fair enough. So I do need that. Let's see what all the vulnerabilities are for our Mozilla Firefox in the system. We scored a 0. That's like... Hold on, I gotta put that in the Discord, guys. That's funny. Mozilla Firefox comes out of the box 0. Oh, where's our Discord at? Oh, by the way, speaking of Discord, we have a bunch of events coming up. You can always go in the top left and see all of the events that are out there. Tomorrow, Sunday, we're doing the Salty Catfish runs this. This is getting a lot of guys that are either coders or wanting to get into coding. They want to do this stuff professionally. So that's something that's coming up. And then we've got Ash coming out to talk about engineering and pre-sales engineering in our industry. He's been doing it for a long time. I advise people, if you want to get into engineering, but maybe you don't want to just live in a dungeon and work with other engineers, you're kind of social and like to get out, pre-sales engineering is an excellent route to go. And he trains people in that. That's one of the things he does. So I really want him to come and talk. He's also been with Red Hat for a long time. He's seen them transition from, being their own company to being part of IBM, and he's kind of rode that wave. So if you guys have questions about how the culture has changed and that kind of stuff, he can tell you a lot about that. So he's coming up. I want to do this. Hold on, security. Out of the box, Mozilla Firefox scores a 0%. There we go. I just wanted to show that. I did not realize. Nothing had prepared me for the fact that this might be a 0%. So on an Ubuntu box with this type of information, here's its internal IP address and all that. Look, there's so much stuff in a STIG score. But what did we fail? There's a Cat 1. Firefox must be allowed to only allow TLS.1.2 or TLS 1.2 or above. I've told you guys before, don't use anything lower than that. Lower than that is SSL version 3. We don't use that. Any of the earlier previous versions of SSL, we don't use those. So this tells you how to go about doing that. Tells you how to check it and how to make sure. See, in our case, we failed because of this, so that's kind of funny. Manual check, the version of Firefox must be supported, meaning it's getting updates from a vendor somewhere, and they did that as a manual check, so there's no way for us to know. We'd have to just go make sure that there was a good version number, and it wasn't something that we had compiled ourselves. In this case, it's not, so this STIG would be fine. We would be able to write that up in our checklist when we get there. We failed all of these. Gosh, we failed every single thing. That's so funny. Here's all our Cat 2s. Cat 2s, automated checks. Firefox must be configured to ask which certificate to present to a website when a certificate is required, and it doesn't even do that. That's like 1990s shit right there. Oh, man. Hey, how's it going, Robodom? Robodom, I'm updating the lab. I'm doing a second version of the lab to do Firefox, and this is kind of funny, guys. I mean, it's funny to me. I went and posted in the Discord. The original benchmark settings for the 34 checks that are there are 0%. So Mozilla is basically the worst thing you could put on your system. Specifically Firefox. Sorry, not just Mozilla, but Mozilla's Firefox. I've never seen a 0 come out of a STIG score before, so this is new to me. But as you go and fix these, right? You could go and one-off fix all of these on a system. But what would be much better is for us to go capture all of these fixes and things that we need to do and put them into an Ansible playbook. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the one on Linux is not solid. It's okay. Hold on, real quick before I say it's not solid. I told you guys yesterday, or asked this question when we were editing the book. Let's pull it up. What's the question? The question is, if all the vulnerabilities are well known, so they know all 34 of these vulnerabilities, why are they turned off? Why don't they just have them fixed? And the answer is almost always ease of use. Look at this. Firefox private browsing must be disabled. Could they really have a browser that they sent to people, and then those people want to use private browsing for whatever reasons, and it's disabled, they can't use it? There's no way. Nobody would use that browser. They'd be like, I gotta go through all this shit to turn on private browsing that I can just get from all these other ones. And you might say, well, stop doing bullshit on the internet. There are all kinds of reasons to use private browsing that have nothing to do with watching porn, just so you guys know. The other reasons for private browsing, like, let's say you're a college student. I have college students with this problem all the time. And for some reason, your connection to, maybe you've got a different Azure account in that browser, and it's using those credentials, so it's sending you over to a work thing instead of your college thing. Private browsing is excellent because it assumes no cookies and it assumes no previous connections. It is like wiping the cookies and restarting your browser. So, yeah. That Cuddlingus, that's exactly right. If you want to use, and I've told you guys this before, and you guys might think it's funny, but I have Chrome open on this machine. I have Firefox open on this machine. Hold on. I got Firefox open, and I've got I got Edge, I've got Chrome, I've got Firefox all the time. And it's because I have multiple different accounts and I don't want to move between them. It's too much annoying. It's too annoying, and I want them to stay logged in, but I have different accounts for different things. And I don't know if any of you guys have used single sign-in with Azure, but fuck, man, it takes over everything. That Microsoft thing, you can't move between two accounts within a browser. It won't let you do it. And you say, well, yeah, you just have to log out. Yeah, that's a hassle. That's one more thing the security's getting in the way of, right? So I refuse to do it. So, whatever you want. But my point is, users would also refuse. If you locked down websites this much, and every single time they tried to go anywhere, you were asking them questions, they wouldn't use your browser, right? They'd just be like, no, fuck that. What if every time you tried to put your truck into gear, a little pop-up came up and said, this is OnStar service. Make sure you don't take your eyes off the road, and then you have to click it before it'll let you drive. It's actually something me and my son used to joke about, is my stupid little OnStar, which I don't even use OnStar. I thought they left my truck when I bought it because I told them to go kick rocks. But they keep popping back up, and they're like, hey, make sure you don't take your eyes off the road, like, for this message here. We're like, get out of here. Car makes you write an essay about transportation. Yeah, my truck, actually, you have to take your eyes off of the road to click the little OK button. So me and my son have joked around about that at the time. Firefox accounts must be disabled. Feedback reporting must be disabled. That's actually really important for a company. You guys might not think this, or you might not have ever thought about this, but security people think about this stuff all the time. And this is why, like, my friends that are full-time security guys and they've been doing that for a long time, most of us would consider them paranoid. Like, and I remember one of our guys, I want to say it was Inspector Diameter that said it, but he said a really funny thing. He said, anybody who thinks, what did he say? Anybody who thinks less about security than me is just not secure, and anybody who thinks more about security than me is paranoid. And I thought that was really funny. It was a funny little quote, because he was kind of right. Like, if you know a person who goes one step further from like a secure standpoint than you think, oh, that guy's crazy. But you think you're secure, and then anybody who thinks less about security than you're like, oh, they don't think about security. But you got to remember, people that do security all the time, hopefully that's all they think about. Robdom, he popped up in the server just the other day again, so he's back around somewhere. He hasn't been on stream, but he was on Discord. I think they let him out of whatever federal institution they had locked him up in. But I want to show you guys something here. So, Firefox feedback. So you might not have thought about this, but your Firefox is set up by default to send logging information with failures and stuff like that back to Firefox. And a lot of times you think, oh, that's good. I'm giving back. I'm helping, whatever. And as a user, as an individual person, that is perfectly acceptable. You probably don't care that they send maybe some IP information, some information about your servers, that kind of stuff. But an organization, a company, doesn't want to send any of that information. They don't need other people being able to map what all of their internal systems are, to be able to map the approximate number of internal desktops they have. All of these things. And now look, you might say, well, but there's no evidence that Mozilla is ever going to use that stuff incorrectly. And I say, no, there's not. You're 100% right. But what if they get compromised? Why? And just again, this is security mindset for people that want to think about security posture. Why would we send that information anywhere? And you say, yeah, they anonymize it in some way. And it's like, that's wonderful. But a lot of organizations turn this stuff off. They just do, because it's not security. And the government 100% does. That's why it's a V251580, in the Firefox findings. So, all right, so let's turn this little set of steps here into a lab. We're still doing just our checking labs. These are labs that are pretty much just capturing output. They're not really doing anything besides showing you guys how the tool works and letting you look at it. So I'm gonna leave this stuff open. I'm gonna have all this open, and then I'm gonna come over here to my right over here to my Prolog Labs, and we're going to copy 207 Stig Scan tool with SCC, and I gotta modify the name of this one. So I'm gonna rename this one just a little bit. We're gonna say OS OS underscore Stig Scan tool with SCC tool, and that's gonna rename everything. And then the structure.json, I'm gonna have to add OS underscore, right, Stig Scans tool. I need to understand kind of what I'm doing, and that's gonna change the name. So in the lab book over here, we're gonna have to add that right here, because that's gonna be part of the link now, right? That's gonna be, the new link is gonna be to that, for that one. All right, so I just want to show you guys all that, because if you're modifying things, you've got to modify things the whole way. All right, so now that whole thing needs to be updated, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste. Oh, well, that's fine. Let's just Control C this one, OS Stig Scanning tool, and we're going to paste, and we're going to change these numbers here. We're going to rename it, and we're going to call it 208, and we're going to call this Firefox Stig Scan with SCC tool. Just like that. Then we're going to Control C that name, right? We're going to keep that name, and go ahead and hit over here. And then over here on this one, we're going to add a new line, and it's going to be just like this, path. And then we're going to hit Control C, or Control V in that case, and then we're going to close that up. And again, when you're at the last one, you don't need a comma, but when you're one before the last one, you do need a comma, right? That's how JSON works. JSON is just a set of key value pairs and lists. That's all it is, right? And we're making a list. So 208 Firefox Stig Scan with SCC tool. It's got to be spelled the same. We copied it, so it should be good. All right, now we got to go in here and we've got to edit this to do the thing that we want it to do. So what do we need to do to make this lab work that same way? So history, there's a few things we need to add. In this case, we're going to add Firefox. So let's come down here and we're going to go to our intro. It says, welcome to Prolog Security. Good. Our index.json. And this, we're going to update this one a little bit, and it's going to say Stig report. So on this other one, hold on, let's go to this other one real quick. His index.json is now going to say OS Stig report. Control S to save that. Get out of there. And this other one, let's Control S this and get out of here. And then we're going to close this down, and we'll come back over here to our index.json, and this one's going to be Firefox. Right? These other things are exactly the same. So I'm going to hit Control S there and save that. And then I'm going to come to my assets, and I got to update my assets a little bit to be here. Your team is integrated. That's all still the same. Your server. So you need to, all right, Stig score your Firefox browsers to a certain score. Your first task is to identify how what your score is, and then build a what your score is. Then you can use that to plan a course of action to remediate your findings. So download and install the SCC tool. Install Firefox browser. Right, need that. Configure the SCC tool for Firefox. We'll turn that on. Verify the output and see where results are stored on your system. Okay, so none of those other things are going to change. That's going to be the only part. Oh, by the way, guys, I apologize. I feel like I'm not seeing everybody's stuff. Natasha, hi, and Dave, Firefox can send off crash tabs in a memory dump but can't revert the history database and insert my lost tabs after woeful state clearing. Speaking of crash log, yeah. And it's like, how much do I want to send of that? And for most companies, the answer to that is 0. How much you want to actually send. So, all right. You guys are welcome to, hang out. We're just doing like lab stuff. I realize that building of labs isn't super, this isn't like some, I don't know how you'd put it. I guess you wouldn't say this is like flashy or like the most fun stuff, but this is necessary stuff to get people hands on. Because once you guys get your hands on this stuff, you go, oh, I understand how that works, and then you can go spin off and do all these other things. But for a lot of people, it's like it's just lighting the fire and showing you guys that you can do this and you can run this and you can use these tools to get this stuff the way you want, right? Like we can go figure out like what our systems are at. And if you say, Scott, well, what other things can I do? Well, we can go look at the Stig stuff. Here's the other SCC stuff that's out there. We've got a RHEL 9 one. This one's actually in my home lab on those Rocky boxes, and we can run it. We ran it the other night, and then I blew the box away without thinking. But we could run this for fun right now. I could start the run right now if we want while we're sitting here. Hold on. And we could get the system stigged, right? So I just run on this box, right? I'm just on Rocky. Let's just do it on Rocky 2. That's fine. Doesn't matter what server I run it on. And I just run opt scc cscc --config, right? This is a Rocky 9.4 image. 9.394, I forget. But anyways, let's just run the config on my box real quick. So it's over an NFS mount, so it's going to take a little bit of time to come up, but it shouldn't take too long. And then we're going to do the same configuration that we're doing in these labs, right? It's going to store my output locally. I think we found that this took like 30 minutes. So we'll just leave this in the background. Let's configure our scan. Look, we just want to run RHEL 9 STIGs. We're not running Firefox. We're not doing any of these other things in the system. So I say, okay, that's good. And then I go... Where is this here? Oh, yeah, so then I hit 0. So that's good. And then I hit 6 to configure, and I look at the scanning options, and number 1 is set. Run all scan content regardless of applicability. Perfect. And then I hit 0, and then I hit 9 to exit, save changes, and run the scan. So that's going to run the scan kind of like in the background for us, right? We'll let that just kind of keep running while we go do these other things and finish up this lab cleanup. It's got, I think it's 460. Let's see how many things it's going to do. This one is from August 24th. Yeah, that's August 24th. And let's see how many is it going to try to run. I want to say there's 462 of them, but I could be wrong. RHEL 9. Give it a second. It'll tell me how many it's going to do here in a second once it's gone and read them all. It's going to skip all those ones because it doesn't need to do all those ones, right? Skip, 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 all that stuff. None of that's part of it. And then it should tell us how many it's doing in a second here. Come on, server. 466, that's what it is. The checklist is 462 though, but it doesn't really matter. All right. So your team has integrated. Okay, so we did that. Download and install SCC, install Firefox browser. Let's go look back over here and make your directory, download the SCC, unzip the tool, and then install with the D package. Okay. And then before we do this, let's just say install Firefox browser. And installing the Firefox browser will be as simple as this command right here. So we'll go right here, boom, and then the install command over there is apt-y install Firefox. Yep. Okay, so install the browser, and then now you are ready to set up the scan against Firefox, right? Then you come down here, change directories to where the SCC tool is located or installed, run the SCC command line scanner tool, and then down here you're going to use the numbers to deselect 1 and 3. So I'm going to say instead 1 and 2. And you only have this selected. So here's the only thing, here's the only thing that's going to be selected. I'll show you guys here real quick. Run, paste that. We're going to do a config. We're going to look in the tool to see what is set, right? So configure scat. And we're going to make sure that 1 and 2 are not selected. And the only thing you'll have selected is Mozilla Firefox for Linux right here. So we're changing up this other lab to be the correct information here. It's going to look a lot like the other lab. And now all those things are going to work. All those things are going to be the same. Nothing there changes for the rest of the lab. So we'll hit Control S, right? Boom. Then we'll go look at step 2. We'll close that one out. And it says you set up the system so you can use a web browser to view the Firefox STIG report at a high level. So we install the Apache 2 web server. We do that. Copy the appropriate results file to there. Yes. View and report your findings. None of this is going to actually change in this lab. Apache is going to be installed. It's still the same directory. It's still the same all index. And then it's still the same thing. And then view your Firefox STIG score and see what remediations you have. That. Okay. Control S. What's our finish here? Machine learning security. You set up SC tool and implement a security scan of your Firefox browser for STIG compliance. Then you reviewed that information via that. Okay, good. So boom, we'll get rid of that. And this lab is pretty much ready to push up and check. So added Firefox lab, right? Boom, commit, sync the changes up. And then what I'll do is I'll back out of here, out of all of our labs. And Robodom's been putting the labs link for you guys up there. There you go. 20 Gober over on YouTube said, "Hey man, would you recommend getting into mobile app testing?" You know, I never got into that. There is good money being a tester, right? You might think like, oh man, there's no. First, if you want to be a tester, go watch Grandma's Boy because that's all about video game testing. But no, if you wanted to get into mobile app testing, one of the things I would definitely highly recommend is go look at what's out there already in the AWS space, like in the cloud space. Because look, AWS has the ability to spin up multiple, so AWS mobile testing, they have a massive amount of ways to spin up. Like, so instead of you having to have, 30 or 50 different devices to log stuff in, AWS actually has tools where you can spin up on all these different phone images and just run batch testing against a whole device farm. They also have that ability against all the different types of Ubuntu and what all those kind of things are. Hey, Shunyam, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. But my point is, I would go read up, like, maybe AWS mobile testing blog. This is me. Like, if I want to learn things, I see what other people are doing, and then I think about, can I improve this? Can I change it? Because like, there's this concept I learned in one of my master's programs that was around like paradigm shifts and how most people in the industry just fall in line and do things a certain way. But then somebody comes from outside of the industry. Sometimes they're people inside of the industry, but most of the time they're outside the industry, and they look at this and they go, "Oh, that's really interesting. That's a good way probably to do that. But I could do that and do it better because I use some other tool on top of it, and then you completely automate and like revolutionize the way this is done." So there's my point is, go look at what other people are doing if you want to get into an industry, and then start to look at. But anyways, my point is, there are a lot of people doing a lot of things. I would not try to start, without going and looking at what other people are doing. By the way, did we have today's? Yeah, this is today. This is right now. They're 9 hours ahead of me. So now we should have a 27th Linux lab. Massive vulnerability things pass on mobile because developers our trusted environment. Yeah, so Dave, there's a lot to dig into on like any type of testing. I've done a lot of systems level testing, and systems level testing is systems level testing. I don't care if I'm on a mobile phone or if I'm on an Ubuntu box or a Red Hat box or if I'm on a Mac. You could throw me anywhere and I could start setting up test cases, right? That being said, there's things that are standard and everybody should do them, and then there's things that people don't always know or whatever, and sometimes you got to spend a lot of time reading as an engineer, guys. See what other techniques people are coming out with, and then take what's good out of those and add them to yours. And then if you're really doing stuff, start publishing what you do so that other people can see how you do it and go, oh, that is interesting, and go that way. So there's a lot of testing. I imagine there's a bunch of testing Slack and Discord out there. I just know the testing that I've done over the years, typically at the OS level, typically supporting guys with like regression and smoke tests and stress tests and load tests and all those type of things that I've kind of done over the years. But there's a lot to that. All right, so let's go look at this real quick. So let's see if our new lab is good. Our new lab is there. Our old one now says OS STIG report of a server with SCC tool. And now the new one says Firefox STIG report of a server with SCC tool. And some of you who have been here might go, that looks pretty similar to the other one. I get it, guys. It kind of does. Here's the lab we're going to do. Oh, before I do that lab, though, I got to back up real quick. I'm going to back out. I'm going to go make sure that this link is exactly correct. 207 STIG Labs for our book. Go pull up the book real quick. I'm going to go look at this one. This one says killercoda STIG Labs with that. And I made sure that that's exactly the same one. Okay, good. Now, we come over here. I'm going to close all this stuff down because this stuff's all actually dead. And that's the OS one. So the OS one we were testing last night, and I still want people to test it if they would. But we are going to be in the new one, which is the Firefox STIG report. So let's go look at the STIG report for Firefox and see if, this is a working lab. If this makes sense, if this flows. Your team has to integrate with the U.S. government system. There's a security requirement that you need to STIG your Firefox browsers to a certain score. Your first task is to identify what your score is. then you can use a plan. Then you can use that to plan a course of actions to remediate your findings. In this case, we got to fix everything, but we don't know that yet. Download, install the tool, install Firefox browser, configure or run the SCC tool for Firefox, and then verify the output. All right, come down here, make a directory, download the proper Ubuntu bundle. We're going to unpackage that bundle, and then we're going to move in there or unzip it. Then we're going to do our depackage to install it. Then we're going to just, when that's done, we'll let that finish real quick. Says where has it been installed. This is important to know. Make sure you know where it's being installed. I might have already moved into the Firefox part, so that's kind of my fault. But really, you wanted to watch and see where it said the package was installed, which was opt-scc. Then we're going to install our Firefox. Because, right, we need to have something to scan against. Yeah, we're already down in the Firefox, so that's fine. So, that's going to go. We got that going for us. Come down here, we'll cd into opt-scc, we'll run the tool, and then this is all the same stuff, but let's watch it happen. Okay, we hit enter to get past the changelog. It says it right there. Hit enter to acknowledge the changelog. We're going to hit 1 to configure SCAP content, and we're going to get rid of 1, and we're going to get rid of 2. We only want to see 3 for right now, which is the Mozilla Firefox. Use the numbers to deselect 1 and 2, so you only have Mozilla Firefox Linux there. Good. Then we're going to hit 0 to exit. We're going to hit 6 to go in and go to 1 scanning options. That's right here. Then we're going to hit 1 to make sure that we have SCAP run all SCAP content regardless of applicability. You can look at any of these other ones that are interesting to you and see what any of these things are. But then I'm going to hit 0 to get out and 0 to get out. And then I'm going to hit 9, like it says, to scan and exit. Now it says the scan may take up to 5 minutes, so we'll let that scan. Also, we'll go check on our other box that was scanning. Oh, this guy's still over here scanning. Look at him. This guy's taking a sweet-ass time. This box takes like 30 minutes to scan because it's so slow. I need to give my home lab system a little more power. All right. So, once we have this score, once we have the scan for the score, once we can scan, we know we're almost all it is other than that is remediation and then rescan, right? That's all we need to be able to do. There's one other kind of skill, I guess, that's kind of separate, which is reporting it out when you're done. I have to redo some reports. These guys need more reports from me on this project I'm on. Oh, so I'm doing this instead of that. Because they need me to do it. I need to send them some stuff probably over this weekend. Oh, lots of work, guys. Work never gets over, but I guess it's a good problem to have. More work than other stuff. By the way, some people probably got here late. Let me pull something up while these things are scanning. These systems are scanning. Let me pull some stuff up. That was our 0 score there. We've got events coming up tomorrow. One of our guys, Salty Catfish, is going to be talking. Yeah, Robedom, it keeps me from having to think about other things, right? And I went and worked out this morning, so I'm pretty beat right now. I'm just kind of sitting here, just smoked. But we've got Salty is going to come and talk and run this group, and he's got a good number of people interested in coming. So he's been a coder for like 15 years, and he's a professional. So Salty's going to be doing his stuff, and then we've got a guy coming, Ash. And I don't feel like I'm selling this very well because we haven't had a lot of people say they're coming, but both of these are free. So when I say selling, it's free. But his talks are always really good. I've heard him talk quite a bit over the years. He's a speaker in different events and different scenarios, and he's very good at what he does. So he's going to come and talk to you guys about what it means to be an engineer and a pre-sales engineer because he's done both roles. So, all right. Anyways, I wanted you guys to see that. That's down the Discord. That's always going to be free. You guys are always welcome to go kind of do that stuff. Salty did a really good job. He came and actually talked. He was an extra speaker. He wasn't even one of our original speakers. So he's come to talk to the group before as a guest speaker. But then that day when he was watching everybody else talk, he's like, "Oh shoot, I could do this." And then he kind of the first day, I remember Saturday night, he kind of talked long into the night with some people that wanted to kind of keep hanging out. So, yeah, if you guys missed our 10-year reunion, it was at the beginning, or our 10-year anniversary. It was at the beginning of the month, and we had a lot of people on there. It was kind of good. Early 20s recommend you go to school or find a boot camp. I'm already going to school for mobile. 20, you know, I don't think you need, like, all right, so let me back up for a second. I'm a college professor. I'm a big fan of people going to college, right? I'm a big fan of that. But not everybody has the time. Not everybody has the money. Not everybody's in that spot in life where they're going to go to college. So that's fine. What I say you do instead then is just start building your resume. Start building the things you can do. And the way you do that is, you know, I have a whole talk on that. But if you come down here to our beginner start here are certs that you can go get. These certs are all free. There's 6 of them right here. Every one of these is free to study and free to take the cert, right? So that's the thing that I would start. I would just start building up and padding a resume to look good. Now, I'm going to pull up I think I have it down here somewhere, my Het Tanis. Where's my Het resume short generic? This is good. So my resume that is this is my, like, it's not me, right? I'm not doxing myself. Don't worry about that. I also don't care if you guys know who I am, but it's got like fake phone numbers and stuff, 8675309. But like, get yourself a 1-page resume, right? Get yourself a nice little knocked down resume that's just the general. These are real things about me. Everything in here is real about me, but it's just different phone numbers and different stuff. My GitHub's correct. And the 59 engineering labs needs to be, 61 now. I think we're well over 61, right? I think we're at 61 total. But anyways, my point is, go and build yourself a little thing. Start putting, if you don't have education or your education's a weakness, put it at the bottom. If certs are strong, start putting your certs up there. Start to get like a nice little header on your resume. By the way, guys, this resume is up in the Discord, so if any of you guys need it as like an example, but you lead with your strengths. If your qualifications are your strength, put them first. If your education's your strength, put that first. My education is good, but it has nothing to do with my engineering. Well, a little bit. The Master's of Information Systems Management, maybe. But the point is, like, my certifications are much more relevant to most people in the industry. The things that matter, right? Because at the end of the day, what does somebody want to know in an interview? They want to know that you can do the job and that you will do the job, right? Yeah, 20, Gober, I think that's Gober. You guys are welcome to join the Discord hangout. We got like 2,400, almost 2,500 engineers down there now. It's really been blowing up, which is pretty cool. It's always going to be free. I'm never, there's monetization for Discord, but I'd never plan on doing that. I just want people to be able to hang out, talk shop with other engineers, have resources, right? We have a lot of resources down here in the resources section. All these labs, like I've got a new lab coming. We just put the one together yesterday, but I've got this new lab that we're working on now too. All right, so look, this is done. So we're going to go hit check and next. It says set up the system so that you could use a web browser to view the Firefox STIG report at a high level. Boom. All right, Apache Web Server 2. So we're going to install our Apache server because we need that. Then we're going to find the correct report, and this assumes you've only run one scanner. Run the scanner one time. That's true. Oh, look at this little guy over here. He's still working. He's still trying. In the words of Mr. Meeseek, he's trying. That's like a 10-year-old reference now. If any of you even know who Mr. Meeseeks is. So we're going to copy that over. We're going to copy everything over into the index. And then let's go look at port 80 real quick. So port 80 is here. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to change this around. All right, hit this one. There we go. Boom, 0 score. So that's it. Let's go fix our labs though real quick. I don't I don't want people to have to do all this stuff because that's going to mess people up. So let's go find, watch here, we'll go to killercoda, and if we go to general killercoda, and we go to creator, if we go to creators, and then we drop down here, they give us the way to call in some of the custom markdown code and stuff, and then right here, network traffic selector, traffic host 1, port 80. So this should be a link into host 80. So let's go take this. Let's add this to this lab and fix it. And then let's verify that it all works. Oh, I'm missing stuff over there. Osama, I hope you're doing well. I want to opinion about the certificate. IBM Cybersecurity Analyst Professional Certificate. I think that would probably be a good one if it's from IBM. IBM's been doing computing for 100 years or so. They are still big in the data center and high performance compute space. So IBM is big. IBM also owns Red Hat. I don't know if you guys all know that. They bought them in 2019, right? So IBM is huge. They're kind of like a big, them and Oracle and Microsoft are kind of big over the whole industry, even as kind of like these like shadow puppets. They're like, I don't know if you guys know, Microsoft is one of the major contributors to Kali. I don't think a lot of people even think about that. Kali, Kali Linux. Kali. Yeah, Kali Linux. The one that everybody uses for security. I don't know if you guys know, but like more than half their contributions come from Microsoft. So anyway, so this is the link. Hold on, let me go fix this. I'm going to go fix this in this one and in our text. Go to the top right. No. Click on this link. Click on this link to access your score here. All right, so now we're going to update it on just this one for now. So Control S, and then we're going to say updated lab link, right? And then we're going to test it on this one, and then we'll go put it on the other one after, right? I like to do small changes, small misses if I'm going to have them. Let's get out of there. Come back over here. Any of you guys that want to do the lab with me, it was the last link that was put up there. And I'm going to give that a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time for it to pull over and rebuild the lab. So I'll give it a few seconds, and then we'll go. Sean the Sheep Meow. I have an API that is Blazor Net 7 that does a polynomial anomaly detection using pure maths. I already have a model of a couple things. Nice. Sean, I can tell you that if you can show projects like that show that you know how to do these things, that's definitely a huge stepping stone to getting into the industry and doing some of that stuff. Muscleman Development, yes, have I done SE Linux? Yeah, I've done a lot of SE Linux. I've also done, over the last 20 years, a lot of turning off of SE Linux. But lately, SELINUX. There you go. That thing can't spell for me. I've done a lot of turning it on lately. And yes, I've done quite a bit with it in environments where we need it either in a enforcing or just down in a passive mode to scan and alert things. And then I've been doing a lot of scanning things out of the audit logs and using audit 2Y to determine why it would block, and then writing my own little SE Linux modules to accept things. So yeah, I've done a fair amount of SE Linux. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go give this the college try. Some of you guys know college try isn't very hard for me because I've had well over 5,000 college students now. So then I say, yeah, it's a college try. And when I say that something's not going to be tried very hard, I say it's a college try, which is not what the normal colloquialism means. It typically means I'm going to give it a good try, but not for me. I've had too many college students over the years. All right, so I'm not reading these again for you guys, but we are going through the lab. If you were doing the lab, you would run through and make sure everything's good, make sure everything's like you expect it to be. It's working for me for now, so that's good. And we're going to go. Went with Fedora Server as my first distro for my home lab. Now I use Rocky. Nice, Muscleman. Yeah, Fedora is good. Rocky is also good. Rocky is, yeah, it's perfectly fine for most deployments and things you need. I have the home lab set up with it because it was a rapid deployment with the tool called Werewolf. And I just wanted to build it and get it the way I wanted. So that's how I did it. All right, so let's move over here. Let's run this. Besh, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Sean the Sheep, Mr. Anderson, hopefully this stuff's all useful to you guys. Sorry I'm missing your stuff because I'm kind of over here working fast. We're going to hit enter to continue. We're going to hit 1 to configure our SCAP contact. We're going to get rid of 1 and 2. So only 3 is allowed, or only 3 is selected. That's over here. And then we're going to hit 0. We're going to go 6 for configure, 1 for scanning options, 1 to run all scans regardless of applicability, 0 to get out of there, 0 to get out of there, and 9 to exit and scan. So that's going to scan our system for us. We can now go to what is the reports output and all that kind of stuff. Oh, good for tools, bad for... Yeah, I can see that, Muscleman. When I was in college, so I tell you guys sometimes, like, I used to run all Linux. I was an all Linux guy. I ran Ubuntu at home all through college. And then I remember just one day, it was probably about 2011, I let all my system update, and it just broke everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm done running this crap at home. So now I do run Microsoft, and I'm fine with that because it's just a productivity tool. But all of my internal home lab is all Linux, right? This is all my Linux lab here. But I don't let the tool or the desktop that I'm getting on get in the way of whatever else I'm doing, right? Like all of my work is in Linux. All the things I do professionally are down in Linux. So yeah, it's fine to use Arch. I have no problem with that. I tell you guys all the time, use whatever tool you want, get in here, do whatever stuff you want. But as you're transitioning from like a hobbyist to doing this stuff as a professional, you have to go play with the Red Hats and the Ubuntus and the SLEs, because those are the ones that are big in the industry. Do I recommend VulnHub? I don't even know what VulnHub is. VulnHub. I don't know what this is, but I can tell you that any of these things that's maybe like useful for you to go play with would be good. Right? Anything that gets your hands on, and again, if you're trying to get into the industry, look, if you're trying to run your own business, right, then you need to know how to do this stuff, and you need to prove to people you know how to do this stuff. Those are like the goals of a person running their own business. If you're trying to be a contractor, going out and doing contract jobs, it's the same thing. If you're trying to work for somebody, it's the same thing. You got to prove to them that you know how to do it and that you can do it. There's BusyBox you keep hearing about, very lightweight. Yeah, you can run BusyBox for all that kind of stuff, absolutely. So this is one of these things I try to show you guys basic things that you can then translate over to any other systems, and you can do these things any way you want. But yeah, I've never seen that VulnHub before, so I can't really talk much to it. But I do think anything that gets you experience, and again, back to this resume thing, right? Like I was showing you guys this little BS resume that I have. Wait, did I close it? I probably closed my resume down. But my little bullshit resume that I have, that's just for you guys to see. The thing about that one is you're trying to show people, like, hey, I've been around the industry, I've done these things. And if you don't have direct experience, you can have project experience. If you don't have project experience, you can have schooling experience. If you don't have schooling experience, go get some study and do some certs, right? All these kind of things that can at least get you in there. And then you say, well, certs cost money. Yeah, but I have a whole bunch of certs that we showed earlier that don't cost any money. These certs right here are all free. Every one of these certs you can go and take and pass and get a nice little certificate from a real organization to put on a resume. Yeah, these are free. These ones right here. They cost you time. Okay, they're not free. They cost you time. Everything costs time when you want to learn something, right? So there's always a cost of some type. All right, so let's go look at this next part and say install the Apache 2 server so that we can get in here. Muscleman, you're talking about pasting all these in chat? It might break chat, but I could try. This might tell me, oh, you can't paste that many things, but I could try. It's too much. It won't let me do it on the YouTube side. It's like, it's too big. Exshunyum, it depends what you guys want. API Academy, this one is good all around if you're an engineer. Because I can guarantee you, no matter what field of engineering you go into, you need to understand APIs. If you want to do front-end or back-end web server or coding, you need to know how APIs work. If I were to do these, like now in my career, I'd probably do the IPv6 first. I'd probably do the certified in cybersecurity second, because I think that knowing networking and knowing security will pay dividends across the board. Is API Academy barked? What? Oh, they are busted. Look at that. Is that doing that for you guys? Yeah, that's weird. They must not have their stuff all worked up in front of there. Yeah, and then look, these are generic. Like if you just say, Scott, I want to be an engineer, but I don't know what type of engineer I want to be. I know I don't want to be that Linux shit that you do. You guys look at this. Some of you look at this and go, oh my God, I can't think of a worse thing than doing this all day. That's fair. Guys, that is 100% fair. Did you guys know that it probably lends to me doing this stuff that I'm completely colorblind? I'm not completely colorblind. I can see it's just red-green colorblind. But my point is I'm colorblind. So I don't need GUIs and cool colors and shit, right? But I also know that I can't really be a web designer. I would not do that stuff well because I am pretty bad at that. So you just want to be a generic engineer. These are the things that I would go spend time in. You're like, well, I also like doing project management, and I also kind of want to be like maybe like a process engineer. I just want to make things better. I want to be a machine learning engineer, maybe. Yeah, X-Shunyum said. So maybe you come over here and you just study these things, and you go, what the hell's a Six Sigma? Well, there's a lot of basic little statistics in here, and gathering data and procedures around how you collect data and present it. Those skills will pay you dividends no matter what you do. Understanding how to take data and turn it into a story to prove that there's something wrong with a process or there's an aberration from a baseline. That's what this thing teaches you how to do. And I don't care where you're at in engineering, sometimes you have to prove that there's a baseline, and sometimes you have to prove that there's an aberration from the baseline. And if you don't know how to do that, that's fine. Go study these things, and they're both free. The cert for these are both free. Right? Go learn how to do that. And you say, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, now welcome to going and learning about becoming an engineer, because that's what we do. Yeah. And I'm not telling you be deep into stats. I have buddies that, in fact, one of our guys that came and talked to us, he's finishing up his doctorate in econometrics, right? So it's economics, but it's econometrics. And then he's got a PhD, or he's working on his PhD in mathematics and fucking all that stuff. Who wants to do that? Not all of us, but you can learn the basics. And that's what this is all about. Understanding how to make those numbers work for you, right? All right, by the way, hold on. I got to finish this lab up. Let's go CD in there, copy. And then here's our link. There's our link. Shows everything at 0. Shows that our system's busted. All right, so check this out. I need to go copy that now and do it into our old lab. So we're going to copy this. Boom. And then we're going to come to our other lab, which is the other one that does the same thing. And then in step 2, down at the bottom, I'm going to say this right here. Control V. Click to access your score. Yep. Control S, and then say right here. Fix lab 207 for port number, or for port link, right? And then commit and save it up, and then we'll go back. What if I wanted to get a mobile pen testing? What would its 6 search look like? 20, I wouldn't, just so 20 Gober over on YouTube was asking about mobile pen testing. I wouldn't tell you that there's any, maybe like certs for that, but there could be certs for that. I don't know what they'd be, but I mean, generically speaking, you'd probably just want to go start getting and looking at development for mobile. So mobile pen testing is going to start with understanding mobile applications, right? So maybe you go find, like, I don't know, blog on starting mobile app development or something. And then I go look in here and say, okay, somebody's got how do I start mobile app development, and that'll give me some stuff. Because understanding pen testing is and hacking in general and getting into systems is all about understanding how the systems process different inputs, right? And hacking as a term means different inputs to generate different outputs from a closed system that we're trying to figure out. That's what that term means, right? So anyways, I would come in here and I would start looking at how to build apps, and then that would help me to figure out how I would go and do that, right? I don't do that kind of work. I pen test Linux boxes, obviously, and systems and networks. And I used to do that professionally, but I've gotten out of that kind of space, and I mostly just do systems work. I mostly just build systems now and secure them. All right, so hold on. Let's go test. So one of the things we always do when we update a lab is we come back and we test the lab. So let's give this one a second to refresh. So we see that it's done. We see that that's good. Let's go to our Prolog labs, and I should see. Give a second here. I'll just go to my creator. I should see that this one has recently been pulled. So 1613, that was 2 minutes ago. Good. We'll go to our Linux labs. Why does it only say 27? I thought we were at one more. All right, anyways, screw it. We'll go here. And we'll scroll down. We're going to do this whole lab to make sure that it's all good. But this is the operating system one. So now this one is the one from last night. And there you go. Yeah, 20 Gober. You just have to really, spend time with it. Get into it. Look, this is another thing I might do. I might look at mobile app Discord. There may be a place where there are mobile application developers that meet, kind of like our professional Linux users group, kind of like Measure Slack. If you guys have never heard of Measure Slack, one of my good buddies, he built his whole career around this. It's Measure Slack and Measure Chat. You can get in there. They have, last I checked, there's like over 30,000 of them in there, and they are people that do analytics. They do analytics on web pages and back-end Google Analytics and all these, and I think Adobe has an analytics suite, and that's all they do. I think I'm actually in their chat. If I drop in here, they've got some of their stuff's a little old, but you can go in there and you can get an invite. It used to take about 3 weeks to get through the invite process, but then you get in there and now you're involved with people that are talking like engineers. Yeah, 20. You're welcome, man. You're definitely welcome to hang out. You're welcome to go hang out, and if you even ask questions down in the Discord, somebody might say, "Oh yeah, I've got a little experience with that," and they might give you a great link to go get started, or they might give you some good networking. There's a fair amount of networking going on. I know of at least in the last 3 years, I know of at least 15 jobs that people have gotten from talking to other people in our Discord. And I'm not telling you that that's going to guarantee that you're going to get a job. But you're going to get to talking to people and get to working with people and understanding kind of what's going on. Okay, so anyway, so let's do this. Boom. Boom. Install, unzip, CD to the right directory, install the package. It's going to tell me where it installed it, so that's important. We're going to move over to that directory so we see where it's at. We move to that directory. We run an absolute path for the config. That's just so that no matter where you're at, this still works. We're going to set up our SCAP tool the same way we've done all these times. So we're going to hit enter to skip past the change log. We're going to say configure SCAP content. We're going to remove 1 and 3 in this lab. We're going to hit 0. We're going to hit 6 to configure options, 1 for scanning options, 1 to add run all SCAP content regardless of applicability, 0 and 0, and then 9 to run it. And those are all the options across here on the left. And then now we're going to run our tool. This is a tool that's going to go out and it's going to run the secure technical implementation guidelines baseline against our system. It's going to run, I think we found it's, this one's 100 and, how many is this? This one's 166 total scans against the system to see how secure it is. Right? How secure out of the box is this Ubuntu server? I think we found it's like 14%. It's not great. Then we could wait, and then we can see where it outputs and all that stuff. So we're going to go forward because we've got that part done while it's scanning. And our next part, we're going to install Apache. We're going to copy over the results file, put it in the, we're going to CD in there, we're going to copy it over, and then we're going to use this link to show it to ourselves and make sure that we can see what the Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3 findings are for this system. Then we're going to build a plan for how we're going to fix them, and that's all in future labs. We're going to do that in future labs, but these labs are going to cover this. By the way, some of you guys that have been hanging out here and watching this, I have... Yeah, Cuddlingus, I'll show you. I'm kind of cheating there. I'll show you how I'm cheating there in a second. But yes, that's a wild card inside of Bash. I'm cheating with that command, but I'll show you here in a second. The all is ALL. That's actually literally looking at a file name. That's not a keyword or anything. So watch. We're going to CD. So let's install Apache. We'll CD to that directory where the results are. And then I'll do an ls to show you what I was looking at. Yeah. That's not some trick in Bash. That's literally me cheating a name of a file. But it's interesting that you point that out. Yeah, I kind of assumed that people, like, I kind of assumed in the lab that people had seen me build this yesterday, but some of you didn't. So look, there's the all settings and there's the non-compliance. So I cheated and I said copy anything with all in it. So that's really a cheat for me. It only copies that one file, that one right there, down. It renames it on the fly to index.html, so it's really only expecting to find one file. And then when we click this, it should give us the SCAP score of our Ubuntu box. Yeah. That was not. That was just me being sneaky. That was not me being clever. Yeah. And then look, we've got our SCAP score. And then now, look, guys, we've passed 16 and we failed 93. We've got 57 that haven't been checked. So we might be able to get this score up into like the 50s by going and checking those and seeing they're all good. But we don't have that yet. So really what we need to do from this is go and start knocking these things out. Hey, Hackeroni, how's it going? We are working on securing systems by building reports and looking at what's wrong with them. And this is a well set up little thing. Look at all these audit records. All these audit records of things that are not set up. And here's like the Unix CHAGE command. And there's no audit rules for when that command is used. Probably because at the end of the day, audit D probably isn't installed or running. So here we go. And then look, there's no Etsy audit rules. That might not even be installed. Let's go back. Is audit D even installed on the system? Let's go audit D. Let's go look up through these. And we'll start at this. Okay, so there's audit D there. But let's go look for just the word audit, right? We'll just leave that highlighted so it helps us find it. Boom, up to the top. Is audit D, or is audit even installed on the system? Where are we at here? Right in here. There's audit. All these audit things, only authorized users, audit records. It's typically the first one, but I don't see it here where it says like audit. It might be up here. No, like audit install. Like is the audit D? Let's go check. So dpkg-l grep-i for audit. Is audit D running on the system? apt-y install audit D. Audit D. Is audit D running on this box? It's not even installed. So now we install it, and then we could turn it on and configure it and get a higher score for some of those things. That's going to be in a future lab. Like so these I try to keep my labs short and sweet. So these two labs that we built yesterday and today are really about scanning things that are there. So the next step, looking at remediation via Ansible. Yeah, so Cuddlingus, we could just go in here and start knocking these out one at a time. But that's like, yeah, that would be a hassle and that wouldn't be repeatable. So what we do instead, yes, we start to go, I'm going to show you guys how to generate. We're going to use a different tool. We're going to use OpenSCAP. OpenSCAP will generate all of the remediation fix for this. Those are all already written out there in the world, and we'll generate a thing that will get this box as close to a high compliance as we can, and then we'll rerun a scan at the end. And when we rerun that scan, it will show us that, like, instead of being at a 14%, it will be up at like maybe like a 60%. But in this environment, unfortunately, this is a limit of our environment, guys. You know, we get a free environment from killercoda, so we don't complain, right? We're not complaining. It's an excellent tool, and it's free, and it's awesome. But what we don't have the ability to do is to reboot this box. Like, if I want to turn FIPS compliance on this box, I can do that. So I'm going to do proc command line, right? And if FIPS compliance was on right here, we would see FIPS equals 1 on the command line. And there's a way to turn FIPS on right here. If you have the tool... FIPS, we don't have the tool, but you can turn on FIPS right here, but then it says we need to reboot the box to get it to come up correctly. Yeah, Yeah, Muscle Man, there's a bunch of paid for services and probably even open source tools that will do this for you. We're looking at doing it to a government system compliance standard, which is the STIGs. These STIGs are coming directly from the government site. We're downloading it right off the DoD site for these labs. And that's perfectly fine. It says right here there's some rules around it. You have to agree that you're, not using it maliciously or whatever. But we're downloading, in our case, this one. But look, if you have Rocky, like in my home lab over here, we were running the scan a little while ago. Oh, the scan's still going. The scan in the home lab is still running, guys. In the home lab, we're scanning for Rocky Linux, but we're using the RHEL 9 because Rocky 9 and RHEL 9 are pretty similar. But you have Solaris, boom. If you have Oracle Linux, which Oracle is just a clone of Red Hat, right? It's a Red Hat clone, Oracle Linux is. And then we're using this one. Where's ours at? The one that we're using is the Ubuntu one. I don't even see it on here. Well, I see it in here. I swear there's things missing here. Ah, here they are. Here's our Ubuntu ones that are missing. You want to do Windows? They got one for Windows. Lunch break during the download? Yeah. Oh, look, my scan's done. What did my box come out with out of the box? It was 31.49. All right, so this one's getting done over here. And then in my home lab, I can pull that down and put that into a checklist, right? But anyways, so that's our labs so far. I have the OpenSCAP. Like, if we go look at my OpenSCAP notes, I have this one to put together. Where do I have it? Yeah, here's my notes for the killercoda STIG lab for like lib OpenSCAP, and then we could run scans and then remediate them automatically. And I just have to get around to modifying this a little bit so we can use OpenSCAP instead of this SCC tool. See, I was going to try to put them into one lab, but it's too much work. So I'm going to do the other part of this, which is around the OpenSCAP. So get that going. Hey Saber, how's it going over on the Twitch side? We are hanging out, building some labs. The labs are free for you guys up in killercoda. Right? I like free labs. It's one of my favorite things. And there's all kinds of different labs up there that are from other people, not just us, but they are free for you guys to go play with. Also, Robodom, it looks like he had put that in on the Twitch side as well. So Discord, and then there's labs and stuff. Wait, what happened here? What the hell is that? Did I copy the wrong? Oh well, I copied the wrong note. That's my fault. I don't know what the heck I just did there. All right, whatever. Disregard me on the YouTube side of things. I don't know what I'm doing over here. I've forgotten how to internet. All right. So yeah, we got all this stuff. All this stuff's done. We got the different stuff. You guys, by the way, if you have questions here and you don't feel comfortable, you can always ask questions down here in the Discord. You can always join the Discord, right? People are welcome. There's a bot down there that'll welcome itself to you and talk trash to you and stuff like that. And then different stuff going on kind of in the Discord with different members and stuff. You can go make friends, rub elbows with people in the industry. Again, I told you guys, like, people will just hop down and chat. We've got some people just go down and play video games sometimes. You're always welcome to do that. So where am I at? So I'm over an hour. Let's take a real quick break. Let's take a Ranger break, and I'm gonna go grab a drink downstairs. Get our Ranger cam up. Where's Ranger at? How's Ranger doing? Look at that Ranger dog. My wife's downstairs doing one of her friend's hair over to the left, so Ranger's probably over here just being a Ranger. Let me pull up my hourglass, and I will go give Ranger a treat. So Ranger treat and a break, and we'll go 8 minutes. All right, I'll be right back, guys. You guys watch Ranger. Robodom's in charge till I get back. There's Ranger Dog. Post all your favorite Ranger memes. Guys, see Ranger get a treat? Look at him. Munching on his little Ranger treat. Saber asks, Tanis, what are you doing? I am taking a break. Gave Ranger a treat downstairs. Now I'm back upstairs. And I'm going to munch on some little Reese's Pieces that my wife got for me. So that's good. And drink a drink. So that's what I'm doing. Feeding Ranger. Oh, and what else am I doing? We're just doing Stig reports. Fixing systems up. And then if the links don't work, you can post them up in Discord and Robodom will grab them sometimes. Ranger's down there eating, and I'm crunching in the microphone to give you guys sound effects. Leave Ranger up. See how my system's doing over here in the home lab. CD to here. So here's my plants. I need to go to my checklist for this one. All right. Over here. Do I not know that password? I know. Hold on. That's annoying. Get out of there. -I root .sh cluster key. Give me that. All right, there we go. ch mod 644 for Rocky. All right. So now, jump over here to the Windows side of things. Right? We'll be on Windows just for a second. We'll CD to downloads. We'll use my pscp.exe tool, and we'll go schampine at 192.168.11.245, which is my home machine, my home lab machine. Temp, and then we'll just take Rocky 2, anything. We do .ckl if we really want to here. And then what's my password, whatever my long password is. Now download it to my home lab. Then what we do is we pull up in my home lab, my downloads, get this out of the way. And we're going to go way back here to where I have the Stig viewer for 2.17. So Stig viewer, open up my Stig viewer. You can put this anywhere you want, but I'm just going to leave it here. Make sure there's nothing on here. Hold on. All right. Changes to rule matching. Boom. It's fine. Don't worry about any of this stuff. We don't have anything open here right now. Ranger is laying around because Ranger's being a ranger. Hold on. The wife's yelling for me. Yeah, what's up? What? I'm streaming. What do you need? Oh, I'm fine with the wife yelling at me when I'm streaming. It's just when she tells me, oh, no, never mind. It's like, gosh, just tell me what you want to say. Please. Like why has this got to be a thing? All right, let's open a checklist from a file. And we'll take the most recent file right here. And here's my checklist. So here's how that system just scored in my home lab. And we kind of already knew what the score was. But on this score, it's 28.11. And then here's all 466 of these. Now, it's going off of this older benchmark version, so I actually would need to download a newer benchmark version for this. But there we go. If you guys have never seen this, you can organize them by categories. See how bad your system's really doing. This system's not doing well. You can organize them by, here's how red they are. These are all the open findings. Here's all the ones that were NF. NF is going to be next, and that's going to be not, or these are not reviewed. So I got to go review them manually. And then I can set them as not a finding or not applicable, or leave them where they're at. You don't want any, again, you don't want anything in Cat 1 open. You gotta have an answer for it. And you don't want anything in not reviewed. But some of these were good. So look, this is what the system found when it scanned. It said RHEL 9 must check for GPG signature of software packages originating from external software repositories before installation. Here's the actual finding. It went and looked in Etsy dnf.conf and found GPG check 1, so that was good. Then it went down and it checked on all the files that was at least one, and then that came up as not a finding because it was good. If I wanted to I could come in here and say manually verified on, 24 August, and then that would also be part of my report. I can come in here on the box, and just so that I know I'm not lying, I can come back here and I can say cat Etsy DNF, dnf.conf. And I would see there's the GPG check 1, just like they said. Good. So I manually checked it. Your Stig score will auto-magically change as you keep fixing these. As you keep fixing these and knocking these off, this score will go higher and higher. You're trying to get to that magical 90%. Yeah, this is very digestible. There's a newer version of the Stig Viewer, version 3, but most people I know, look at Ranger, most people I know still stay on 2 because it's kind of nice to look at. You'll get your biggest gains by knocking out these ones. So let's go look at this one. FIPS 9 must be in, or RHEL 9 must be enabled in FIPS mode. And then I said that you could do FIPS mode setup enable and turn that on, but they found that FIPS mode was not enabled and it was not turned on, right? So they went and looked here, and then they looked at the command line, and FIPS enabled was not true. So I could set that on the box and pass that. But since it's a containerized environment, when I rebooted the box, it would go away. Watch, if I set this right now, it'll go, hey, that's cool, but now you need to reboot the box for it to come up correctly. Look, reboot the settings for it to take effect. Well, when you reboot a container, it does not come up correctly. Or it comes back up as the container, so you lose all this. So you have to actually figure out how to configure this and turn it on in this environment, and then you can say that's fine. The way you actually set this is, I can show you this. So we're not really doing werewolf right now, but out here in the werewolf box, right? So host name. Who am I here, right? I'm just host name on some system. I literally have no idea what just happened. Oh, thanks for the follow, Spaghetti Code. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I don't know if we just hit some kind of, I don't know what the hell that was. But hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Ranger's downstairs doing what Ranger does, and then we're over here. And watch this real quick. So when we look at a node, wwctl is our werewolf command, and then we're going to say node show, and then we want to see Rocky 2 dash A, yeah, and then we're going to look for kernel. Whoops, grep dash I. Is it node list? I can never remember this. Yeah, there it is. So here's the options at the command line for this system to come up, and I can override these kernel arguments to set fips equal to 1. So I can set fips equal to 1 here for when the system comes up, and then I can run this fips mode setup enable in the container. And if I set that up in the container, then I can cause these things to be passable in all future builds of this system. So this is a thing for us to do. Now, we're not doing this in the home lab right now, but when we go to do that, we're going to do it with Ansible so it's repeatable, right? We don't want to just do things one-off. One-off things are fun in the lab. They're great to learn, but they are not good for production code and being able to do things as a repeatable fashion as engineers. So, all right. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get Ranger Cam out of the way. Back over here, our lab worked fine, so we're good with our labs. And then what I want to do is in our Discord, we always go to our killercoda labs, and then we always let people know that there's a new lab up. So I'm going to say new lab up to test. New lab up. It's like the last one, but you're looking at Firefox Stig score and it, right? And then I'm going to copy these same things, like what do you like about it, what did you learn, right? Boom. And then people have that or whatever, right, in the Discord. People can do all the things they want. They can review things, all that kind of stuff. All right. Oh look, we're almost down to the background. Look, we're almost down to our actual chat behind here. But we're not doing the chat, we're not doing that talk right now, but if we were, that's what we would be doing. All right. We didn't even really get any notes for today. Not yet anyways. Where did our... Did I close it? Apparently I closed it. All right, well, that's what I get for closing my labs out. All right. What else are we doing today then? I don't really have, I guess, much else for us to work on. We could just sit around and work on stuff in the home lab and start working on that, but that's not really something, I guess, to start this close. I have about an hour, and then my college students might show up. I run a study group on Saturday for my different college groups, my different college classes. What else could we do? Could blade Rotato, but I don't want to. We'll keep this one a little more serious. Let's look at the home lab here. What are some glaring things that we could really go and start fixing? There's a bunch of these that come up where you got to disable Control-Alt-Delete and you mask it, and we could set those manually. Musselman said, what classes am I teaching? Well, I'm teaching a Network 191, which is intro to networking. We do a lot of cloud in there, like basic cloud stuff. And then a Network 212, which is Azure Cloud. And that one kind of maps to like an AZ900. So a lot of the steps in there are very similar to like an AZ900 test. But those are the two classes I'm teaching right now. I have like 30 students in the one and like 57 in the other. But we teach them kind of in an interesting way. We do this thing called an on-live modality. And we have like 700 students in the total class. Do I give them Synapse to eat when teaching handshakes? Yeah. In the class, we have like 700 students, and any student can come to our live sessions. But then any student can come to any of the teachers' huddles. So I do my huddles on Saturdays. And any student from any of the classes can come to any of the teachers' huddles. So that's kind of a cool little thing for the students to be able to come and hang out with any of them. And then in our big meetings, any one of the teachers is lecturing for like 20 to 30 minutes at a time. We do kind of like these small little blocks of instruction on different things, and I have a whole bunch of them I've done over the years. Oh, more ads, yeah. Ads are always fun. I need to I thought there was an OpenSCAP scan for MariaDB, but I might be wrong about that. There's no ads in YouTube. I think ads get added in YouTube later, Robodom. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but yeah, Ranger is active because my wife's friend is down there. My wife is doing one of her friend's hair just over to the left in our kitchen. So Ranger's probably active because like he's either getting treats or he thinks he's getting treats. So I'm glad he can still get up and get around because he's been really having a hard time lately. So, all right. Yeah, maybe we'll call it here. I think that's a pretty good stream. We got more stuff done. We got more labs built. I do need to add that lab to the overall lab book so that we have one more lab in the lab book. And then I need to actually update some of the other stuff. Saber said, "Can you tell me a little about your career?" Yeah, I can tell you about my career. I graduated high school in '99, and I went in the Army because I was too smart for everybody. No, that's not true. Mostly because I got told that I couldn't go to college unless I had certain classes, which is, any of you that know that that's a complete lie. All you got to do is be able to pay for college. They don't care what classes you took before you went to college. Colleges don't give a shit. Anyways, but so I went in the Army. Did that for 4 years, and while I was in, I got a nice little trip over to Iraq at the beginning of '03 as an infantry guy. But before that, I was going to some college while I was in, and I got my CCNA. So I went and passed my CCNA, and I got into the kind of network engineering. And when I got out of the Army, I went to work for a school district as a LAN 1 tech. So I was just moving computers around. That's LAN. Went from there. By the way, if you guys are wondering, I got asked to give a little bit of my background. So then I was a LAN 1 tech, and I was working on my bachelor's from DeVry in network communication management. So I'm over there. I'm doing computer stuff, and then I move up to a LAN 2, and I get put in charge of all the firewalls and all the wireless for the whole school district. So I'm in charge of a couple of PIX 525 firewalls and all the wireless. I did a bunch of wireless site surveys and just all kinds of stuff. And this would have been early 2000s, like 2004 to 2006. And then in 2006, I left the school district and I went over to GoDaddy and I ran their network operations center. So I was network. How many users? Too big to fail. Are you talking about in my system or in Discord? In Discord, we have about 2,400 users right now. We're just over 24. Oh, in the school, we had 36 different sites, and I would say close to 60,000 total users. So, and then Monkey Man, this is LOGSEQ, Logsec, LOGSEQ is the tool. I also, so it's LOGSEQ, if you can see that. The other tools that I use are Zotero for notes. I've been using Zotero because that's got some pretty cool stuff in it. And then I use Notepad++ in dark mode. And then I do use OneNote. Some of you guys might not know this, but I do use OneNote as well. So I keep up all these different things. Yeah. Yeah, Logsec is this one. I kind of like it because it does everything in Markdown and it's all collapsible. And then you can drop pictures right in it, like OneNote. So this was some of my stuff for last night. These are some of the things. And it does all things daily. You have whiteboards. You could just start going in there and drawing stuff. Like I was just drawing stuff the other day, just messing around. Right? ITIL, fit for engineering. And then I could just make more and more whiteboards if I wanted to just keep track of different things or have journals or whatever. So I think it's a pretty cool little tool. I'll probably be using it more in the future. That's why I've been kind of trying to do it. Yeah, Saber. So, and then, while I was doing, when I got over to actually before I went over to GoDaddy in 2006 to run their NOC, I was kind of got into the Linux side of things at the school district, and I started building out Linux boxes for some of our functionality. Then I went over to GoDaddy. I ran my own business till about 2008, and then in 2008 I started teaching, and I started working at GoDaddy at Lockheed Martin in early 2009. So did Lockheed for a few years as what was called a hardware engineer, but it was all Linux. Moved over from there and did some federal work with a company called the heck was the name of that company? CGI. And then I left CGI and worked for a company called Keras Life Sciences. And then I went over to be the platform engineering lead for a company called AAA that most of you guys in America know. And then I did that for many years. And I ran all of their Linux and Windows systems. And then I went over and jumped into doing high-performance compute. I did high-performance compute at Lockheed Martin, so that was kind of good. But then I started doing high-performance compute with another company. I was doing Ansible through all of this and getting good at automation, or what I thought was good at automation, right? And, yeah, I've just been doing Linux pretty much for the last 20 years in different roles. So somebody asked about what I've been doing, so that's kind of what I've been doing. All throughout that, I've gotten a bunch of certs. I've done a whole bunch of security roles and security kind of sidetracking in my career. Yeah, I did work for the Secret Plane Boys, except I was on the satellite stuff. I did all downstream of satellite. I caught all the data. That's what my job was. I used Lustre and big data systems to catch all the data. That's what my job was. Yep, that was me. Biggest systems I've worked on are, like, I built out NOAA clusters for their weather stuff. Those nodes have those systems are a couple thousand node systems in 2 different parts of the country. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and Ranger looks very alert. Like he really thinks somebody's going to give him a treat here soon. Like he's looking right at the ladies over there, thinking, what kind of foods are they going to give me? Maybe they got snacks down there, and I don't know about them. Because Ranger's very interested right now. Like he thinks they're about to give him food right now. Oh, you can do it, Ranger. You can do it. There he goes. As long as he gets up, he's fine. All right. What am I doing here? Good to see. Yeah, Ranger still got a nap. The Ranger's always hungry. Ranger spends his whole life hungry, guys. If you could ask him, he'd tell you that we don't feed him. Even though we do. We feed him quite a bit. Okay. So what else do we have? We could add more labs. I have some testing labs to add that I want to build. They'll probably be up here in the 10 range. They'll probably be right above the conditional and counting loops type stuff. We'll get to all that. What else could we do? We could just go over. We could just talk about some Linux systems. Well, I don't know. I got a whole bunch of Linux systems administration stuff we could talk about if you guys wanted. I made all of these benchmarks and testing and troubleshooting and all that stuff. All that stuff I think is valuable to know. And maybe we'll go over that later. Oh, guys, I might have an event pop up down in Discord. I might even do it on Twitch. But later on tonight, I'm having Jared Smith over. He's a good buddy of mine. Some of you guys are like, who the hell's Jared Smith? He's come and talked to our Linux group quite a bit. He is a Google data analytics guy. And I might get him on and we might do a little talk back and forth about getting into that industry and some of the things that he's done and that kind of stuff too. Yeah, I'll probably throw it on Twitch, Muscleman, if it's on. But I will definitely have it. I'll probably have it down the Discord too, maybe. We'll see. Look at that Ranger. Look at him walking around looking for the softest bed he wants to lay on. He looks tired. You guys probably can't tell, but his legs just look like they're about to give out on him, like he's too tired. All right, we love Ranger. He's a good dog. Feel free to hang out down in Discord. We'll be around. There's that event tomorrow, and then there's an event coming up in the next couple weeks. So remember to go in there and check on your events. You know, there's always events. They're always free. So, you know, feel free to hang out down in there. All right, I'm going to drop off here for a little bit. Let's maybe catch up and regroup later on tonight. For sure, I'll be on tomorrow. We do labs on Sundays. Labs all day Sunday. That's all we do. And just getting people in there, getting your hands on these systems. So, all right, I'm going to drop off of here. Let's go find somebody to raid on the Twitch side. On the YouTube side, I appreciate you guys coming by. And I will see some of you later on this weekend or maybe even tomorrow. Oh, we'll go see what Practical NPC is doing. But yeah, the raid alert is the normal Linux rage. Do all the Linux, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.